You can trade or sell.
No benefit.
Either way.
Typically with lawn and garden stuff though, when it's used, it's worth about half of what you paid for it. And if you've got something that's 2 years old, still under warranty, and you're gonna trade it in, you're not gonna wanna take half.
You're better off sell it. Because the
Get what I'm
warranty
trying
would
to say.
transfer to whoever buys it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, true, but that doesn't seem to be a factor as far as it doesn't hold its value because it's under warranty.
So what are these trades worth? He says you want to sell 3. What are they going to be worth?
Well, that's where, basically Sean thought that the Hustlers would be, and I think we're low, would be $1,800 each, and the Toro would probably be $2,500. So we basically get 6,000
6,000.
if you did all three.
And all three was how much again?
18,100.
And where would the money come from?
Out of the capital outlay. We do have under capital outlay from over the years $376,000 on that sheet there. And we do have some in this year's budget also.
And we just kinda kick some of these ideas around
Mhm.
because I know your mower fleet is pretty tired. And that's why I brought this up. But, we don't necessarily have to go with whatever I say or Roman either. I mean, if you guys have ideas. But when you start looking at the maintenance cost of these things, then, was it last year or the year before, we went to unit numbers on this stuff? And I bet you if you look back in, you'll find that those older units are costing you big.
Yep.
Because you had 2 units last year that cost you very little, which was the 13 and the 11, I believe was still under warranty last year, wasn't it? So now all the rest of that money went into 3 machines, $3,000. I mean, you start talking $1,000 a machine just to fix it. I mean, we had a couple clutches go. We had, what else? Starters. There was some expensive things
Yeah,
went.
there was last year.
Oh, when you get that old with that much use, you're going to have that kind
Yeah,
of maintenance.
and there again, and I don't mean to rip on young people, but when you just hire temps that get on this stuff and they don't know, or they don't have any background in taking care of these things, they just drive them, and that's just what you get.
And they mow a lot.
They do. And it's not in all pretty areas either. And you start looking at down by rivers and in parks and things like that, there's some rough territory.
If we bought 2 and sold the 2 Hustlers, you'd be spending just under $10,000.
You have a recommendation, which you'd like to see done?
I think we need to look at 2.
2? Okay.
What Sean is saying is that if over a few years you can get into where they're under 3-year warranty, that's going to save you a lot of money over time.
If you can start, and then that was the reason I brought up the 3, was to try to get you into everything under
But
one.
that's why it'd be nice if we could do one a year so that you're staggering this and you
Yeah.
have the warranty, if we just buy them all now,
Right,
then
but
we're going to
now
buy them all
When
again.
you get past these warranties and you got commercial machines, like if you put another 6,000 series on, like the one that we got last year that he was running, those are probably a good 10-year machine. I mean, after warranty, you can run those out. They're a good, strong machine. And that's why I thought to get you under warranty, to get you away from some of these costs, we proposed the lighter duty commercial.
Would it be something like for this year to buy the 2 like you'd like, and then like Sherry says, every year going forward we buy 1? Because that's the best way to go. I mean, to constantly treat your fleet. My other question, I got those. Let's say we did this, we're looking at about $7,000, $8,000 out of pocket.
We're looking at about
Are you looking at some other
10,000.
things down the road, Roman, for this year, that CapEx that you're going to have to do to, like, I know a road grader or anything like that?
Well,
Are you
the road
looking-
grader is going to be leased. That's a
on
lease.
Okay,
yeah.
so you
And
got that done.
Actually, that's supposed to come in April and it hasn't arrived yet.
I know though, I just, out of conversation, there's some city equipment that needs to be, what I've done and for the fire department, there's some equipment that they need to look at, the rescue rig they're
Yep, and
talking
we'll talk
about.
about that later. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I suggested that the fire department should talk to you because you're the person for fire department, right, Chad,
Yes.
I think.
I-
So
I-
I did suggest that, but the other
I
thing,
couldn't tell you.
the other thing I
I'll
told
take your
him,
word for it.
what I wanted to see was a list. I wanted a list from like worst to, or best to worst, anyway, that what you need replaced right now, what you need replaced in a couple of years. And I asked for that from the city too, so I'm not sure, when they'll get to it. But I said we were gonna start doing some planning. And so it would be good to know we can start planning what pieces of equipment need to be replaced in a couple of years or right away. So, I know there's some things
And
out
that's what
there.
we talked about, is that, for the last 3-4 years, we haven't bought much at all, simply because of the raise in taxes.
But then it feels like you get nailed. If you have like a 5-year plan,
Yes.
so you
Yep.
kind of know who's looking at what when, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's why, at this point, I would look at 2, not 3.
Why don't we go with the two?
Hold on 1 second.
Those
Go ahead,
two you're
Jeff.
talking about.
Of the three lawnmowers, the 2002 Toro, the 2005 Hustler, and the 2006 Hustler, of those three that are not under warranty, the best one of the three is the 2006 Hustler. The 2002 is pretty wore out, and the 2005 Hustler. So look, if we're gonna get two, it would be, I would prefer the 2002 Toro Gold and the 2005 Hustler Gold.
The 2 oldest machines, in essence. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Right. Al?
I move that we buy those two, the low ones.
2
But-
mowers.
And they would be I think we should go with just the commercial, not the light duty. That's just my,
That's that more expensive.
It is more
Yeah,
expensive,
what you're
but-
talking
Yeah,
about,
for the
one is
amount
the
of
heavy
mowing we
duty
do.
and one would be a 60-inch lighter duty, which would make it bigger, but it's lighter duty. It's not a full-blown commercial, like, I shouldn't say that, it's considered a full-blown commercial, but it's entry-level commercial.
Okay.
It's not heavier duty.
It would be pretty much like your Hustlers.
Well,
'cause
what's-
Those
oh.
were entry-level commercials.
what's the price difference between those two then?
You're talking $4,000 difference to go with another 6,000 series right now.
Well,
I-
for the amount of mowing that they do, to me, but I don't know much about it.
But see, that,
Is it
and
worth,
like you say, if we can now look at getting into buying more often, you can get away from that. And
See-
that's my intention, is that in the future, we would look at the heavier series.
All the way through,
Yeah.
all the way through everything.
Mhm.
But if that's what the goal is down the road, to have everything in the heavy-duty commercial.
Yeah.
But at this point, we're trying to replace some really tired machines, and quickly, is why we looked at what we
sorry,
did.
Al, I didn't mean to interrupt your,
That's okay.
I just didn't know which
And
ones.
Actually, it would
Let's
be
say two, though.
$3,000 more. If you went with, I mean, right? You said the 60-inch was
Well,
47.
the
4,800.
8690 is the heavy-duty one.
The 86, yeah.
So it'd be, if you were gonna buy 2 of them, it's 17,380. If you bought the 60-inch and the one heavy-duty, it's 13,500. So it's roughly $4,000 difference. $4,000 more.
But on those two, are they commercial grade here?
This one is commercial grade. They're still called commercial, but
Yes, they
they're
are.
not
They-
the heavy duty.
And then
If
do
it's
the
got a
warranties
roll bar
stay
on,
the
it's
same as
considered
on the
commercial.
boat? Is the
The
warranty the same on
the
the
heavy
boat?
duty one is 4 years. The other one is 3 years, I believe
think so,
Sean said.
And the last time, on the 2000, what did you say, 11 or 10? That one went out of warranty before the 3 years because of the hours. It went past on hours, and that's the first time I've ever had that since I've been in business. But that tells you how much they use them.
Because if you went with the two here, is my trade-in gonna be about a little bit better then?
Well-
Is the city's trade-in gonna be better when you get to the end?
Down the road, you mean?
Yeah.
When you trade the
If
heavy
you
duty
went
machine?
two commercials rather than one commercial, one, is that lighter weight machine gonna be less?
Depends on how far you run them. Because
Yeah.
what we're trying to
that's
do
what
is
I
get
think
into a
too.
heavier
Well, I
machine.
know, that's what I'm saying.
that
If
can
we
run
run
some
our normal
years.
course,
But if you're gonna start looking at maybe kicking them out every 3 years after they're out of warranty, then you're better off with the less expensive machine.
okay. Yeah, Jeff?
Just to give you some information, on the last year when we bought the 6,000 series, last year alone, that was the first year we got that, 2013. And I looked at that, we changed the oil today, and I looked at the odometer, and it was 300 and just under 380. And it was
Hours?
For 1 year.
that machine got a lot more use because it
'Cause
was
it's new.
a lot more machine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the deal.
it outrun them other ones. It's just a lot of machine. Would you say it will mow almost twice as much as the rest?
Then why don't we go with 2 commercials? I mean, why not get the better quality right away?
And you can, I'm strictly looking at the dollar amount at this point. For 4,000 in essence, yes, you can get 2
Well-
commercials, in reality.
Yep.
For $4,000 more.
I'm gonna ask you guys another
You
question.
told me if you did the 3, it was 18.1.
No.
But that was 2 light duty. Is what that was a 54 and a 60 light duty and the 6,000 series. Then it was 18.1. But we're just talking buying 2.
Yeah, I know, I'm just kind of comparing here.
But for the 4,000, we get another year warranty. Plus, we could maybe run
And
them.
it's heavier duty.
It's heavier duty, and we could maybe run them a little past the warranty.
Oh, you can run them a
Yeah.
lot past the one.
Yeah.
Because
And
you
it's-
got, you got an O2 running right now that is Toro commercial. I'm saying it's costing you money, but
Right,
they,
right.
I mean, I don't think that thing started to cost money until probably 5 years ago. Would you say? The O2? Or when did that start giving you fits? So, I mean, you get 7, 8 years into
Yes.
them, and then you start looking at
17.4.
And these are all the same brand.
They're all Toro.
the,
Just the heavy duty,
Mm-hmm.
I would call super heavy duty versus the regular.
one of the things, the reason why these guys like Toro a lot better, because Toro cuts grass better than the Hustler.
Even Bob
handles it.
Thompson, he said the hustlers didn't work very well when the grass is a little wet.
Wetter, yeah.
It would all clump up and plug up.
Or
and-
even a little long.
Yeah. He was
But like
right.
the maintenance on the machines, are they cleaning them afterward? I mean, is the maintenance?
From
being-
what I see when they get in there,
Done.
everything has been taken care of.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
When
clean
I
them,
get
they
to 'em,
sharpen the blades,
I-
they change the oil.
I would,
Well, I mean,
I would
just-
have to say a lot, I haven't seen any repairs done to lack of maintenance.
Okay.
Are we pretty
So-
confident on these traits?
So what you're looking at is buying 2 6,000 series.
That would be coming from me. That would be my recommendation.
Which would be $17,380.
Oh, Judas Priest, what, okay, what
Oh.
now?
I think
What did you say?
They're looking at
I would
buying
rather see going with 2
of
commercial
these.
grades right away.
Heavy
would be
duty.
seven.
Yeah, the 17.3.
380, right.
Yep, and then, but I guess my question would be, and you trade off and you get $6,000.
We would sell, well, no, we're only
No,
gonna get,
you'd
we're only
trade
gonna get
2
rid of
then.
2 then.
Okay, so what's your trade
So we
value?
would probably have, we figured 2,500 and 1,800, you're looking at $4,300.
4,300. Are we pretty comfortable with that figure, that's a conservative figure?
Based on what,
It all depends
talking
on,
with Sean.
it all depends on the auction,
Yeah,
on that day. I mean,
But-
Oh, you're gonna sell them up?
but in the
beyond
past,
the
we've
town
done
hall?
really
Oh,
well. on the
they've done
auctions.
really good on their
Yeah.
consignment auctioning.
I got a question for you guys, that mow that lawn. Do you send the lawnmower according to the job, or do they just jump on and they go? If you got light mowers, you don't send them that heavy junk. You know, you can save them more by just petting it on the job it belongs on, not the job you want to send it to. That's Mr. Grandson of mine. He had all kinds of theories when he got done driving for you guys. But I think if you got a heavy mower, you put it down by the river. But they put these little light ones on lighter jobs, right?
I don't know how.
I would agree with some of that.
If they're mowing,
If
you're
they're in
saying if they're
rough
mowing the
terrain.
paths down in the river, the heavy dutier ones,
Okay.
is what, I think is what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
the kid on the bottom of the totem pole shouldn't get the crappiest mower and the crappiest job.
Sure you should.
But
If
I
you wanna
see what
save
he's
your
trying to
mower.
say, but grass is grass, but the terrain can get rough.
Yeah, the train is bad.
Jeff?
I think it was yesterday, Roman told me that I was gonna be supervisor, this year. And when I started doing that, I went on my computer, and I'm making every Friday morning, we should have pretty much the city done. There's gonna be a few things left to do. But we're gonna be doing maintenance every Friday morning on the lawnmowers, the blades, checking these lawnmowers out so they don't get abused so bad, keep things up.
One of
That
the
I like
things
to
we're
hear.
noticing too, and he pointed this out to me, is the difference in greasing. Like your new machine has how many zerks? 5, and the old one had 21. I mean, it's just a lot less maintenance even. You're not paying as many hours to take care of the machine.
So we're looking at,
And I'm just a salesman, so.
council, we're looking at spending about $13,000 here after trades. And you're feeling, Roman, that can come out of this capital
Yep.
outlay money market?
And we do have some in the budget. for
It
this
would
year.
be more than 13,000 though.
Well,
because we're not
it'd be
trading three.
17,380 is what you're gonna pay,
Yeah,
and then we would sell two, is what Chance.
okay, but we would not get 6,000 for two more.
No,
No.
4,300.
4,300, we're talking about. roughly.
So I come to $13,100 is what I'm looking at spending.
So the motion would be to purchase two mowers, 6,000 series, for 17,380.
You know, we could buy a bunch of push mowers.
You say that, I got,
What do you think, Jeff?
I got 30-inch push mowers now.
All right.
So somebody needs to make the motion. Al,
Who made
did you
this
start the motion?
Who got us into this?
I think Al started the motion, didn't you?
Yeah, I can
Go
go
ahead,
with
Al.
2.
So it's to buy two mowers, 6,000 series, for 17,380 from Appleton Power Equipment.
17,400, right? That's what.
17,380.
17,400?
Right, it's right on, 17,380.
Is he gonna
Or
make the
380?
motion?
Okay.
I think he did.
He did make the motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll
Second?
second it,
Okay, we got a second from Amber.
if he made the motion.
Had enough discussion? All those in favor, or, excuse me, council, is there any more discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
All right. Next item we would have is in regards to the West Central SWAT team agreement.
I don't understand.
Motion to approve the West Central SWAT team agreement as presented. I gotta go 15 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second? Any discussion?
The reason this is in front of you is there's new people that are joining. I can't remember which one they are, but, so basically you're renewing it simply because there's some other new people that are joining it. On the first page, it lists who the members are. I don't remember who the new ones are.
Oh, community people
Yeah.
joining, not just officers, right?
No, yes.
Derek is
County-
still our,
County or city, yes.
Derek is still our, okay.
That's the only thing that's changed?
Right.
Have we used these guys in the last couple of years?
Well, at the Catholic Church, did you? When there
That's
was
been
that?
more than a couple years ago, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, time flies. That's good, though. We don't,
But they get a lot of calls.
Yeah, they get calls.
I mean,
They cover a big area.
yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item we'd have is regard to payment of the bills.
Motion to approve the payment of the bills is listed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second? Discussion? I'm assuming these have all been emailed out to the council?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor then signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item we'd have is some staff reports, city code regarding to chapter 12.
Okay, this is the issue we had with the guy who wanted the greenhouse. So we will be looking at that this summer and bringing something back to you. Because that's where you got into the, legally, state statute says the county has to issue a license before the city can. The one thing I really did enjoy, I was glad was in there, is the restriction that they could only be there for 14 days. You know, and I understand it's good to provide other opportunities to people in Appleton. But in this case, in reality, the guy was really trying to play a lot of games. And the plus to the city, really, I saw no plus. I mean, there was no fees. We were gaining no taxes. We were gaining nothing at all. You know, if there was some type of fee, and that's something we could also look at, if there was going to be some type of fee for it. But to me, the 14 days and you had to change locations, you know, first of all, you probably aren't going to have somebody who's going to come in and move it every 14 days. But so anyway, we will be looking at that and bringing something back to you this summer. Okay. You have something on a proposed dog park. I'm sure you've seen that. That's really a big thing in the last couple of years that a lot of cities are looking at. So that is being worked on. You know, some stuff will come back to the council in reference to that in the future.
Just curious, what do you do on these parks? First of all, when you get them in this square
Yep.
netting or fence, can they go off the leash?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can.
And then
Have you
if they
seen
go-
the one in Benson? As you
Yes, I
come in?
have,
Yeah.
but I've never seen, I just curious how they work. So then, let's say I bring my Rottweiler,
Mhm.
you bring your Chihuahua. How do you prevent the neighbor, what do you do there? Because
Well, I would assume that's a responsibility of the dog owners.
that's your dog owner's responsibility.
Some
Okay.
places have two different
Yeah,
areas. One
Benson's
for
got
small
two.
dogs, one for big dogs.
Yeah, big dog, little dog, Benson.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
So anyway, that will be coming
And who
back.
does the cleanup?
The people are supposed to pick it up and put it into a garbage can or whatever. There's actually things there, provides the bags.
And then the city would take care of that.
Okay, fire department. The rescue van, we have to look at replacing. The generator went last year. Just to replace that generator is like $8,000, $9,000. It is not worth putting that into.
Which one's your rescue van?
The rescue van is the big one, the real big van.
Square one.
Has all the equipment in it as far as if you
Okay.
got accidents and everything.
It looks kind of like the delivery bread truck. or
Yeah,
something.
it does. Yep.
Okay.
We've been working on the heating in the fire hall for 2 years and have not been successful, and that will definitely be coming back to the council. There's some leaks on the roof we'll be dealing with. There's also some issues on the footings that we'll be dealing with. Okay. The other question that came up recently is a request that they would get paid $10 per person for storm watch. Nobody's ever gotten paid for storm watch in the past.
For what?
For storm watch.
Oh,
The firemen get called out, they go wherever, out of town with the trucks
Yeah.
on storm watch. That's a question. The other question I have is, the fire department really doesn't have any money in general fund. We haven't for quite a while. And our raffle is mainly used, it's used mainly for a banquet, retired firefighter steak fry, and for fire prevention week. The discussion that's been talked about is, I don't know how many years it's been since there's been new jackets. What the CRP burns in the last 3 years are this. In 2012, it was $15,500. In 2013, it was $7,490. As of today, build out is just under 7,200, and actually they're doing another burn tonight. So the question is to ask the council if they would be willing that the fire department could use like $2,000 out of the CRP burns to purchase jackets.
And what's it
Where
supposed
would
to
the
be
fund
used
come
for?
out of?
Pardon me?
What
It
fund?
would come out of the money the city gets for the CRP burns.
CRP,
All the
the
sea burn-
grass,
sea-
they
all-
burn
all
the
that-
grass.
That goes to the city. It doesn't go to the fire department.
Oh, from the raft?
No,
No.
this is
No,
from the
from
city, the
CRP
grass
burns.
burn, CRP.
grass fires.
Oh, okay,
we
that's.
burn that,
really?
that's-
Why did- okay,
That
why
all
does
goes to,
that?
that goes to the city because you're using city equipment, city
Okay.
firefighters. That's why. It has to go to the city. It can't go like.
But shouldn't it go into the city underneath the fire department fund?
Well, it does,
Yeah.
but generally jackets or anything historically have been bought not with city money.
What have they been
Okay.
bought with fire?
They've been bought with fire department money.
And you guys don't have any money.
At this point, not in the general fund. Years ago,
'Cause why?
when they got rid of that, the money from the general fund was transferred to the fire department. But it really hasn't, there's been no way to replenish it over the years. And that's, how many years ago has that been now? Since the fire department got rid of its checkbook. It's been a long time.
How many you gotta get?
There is, there is 20 people
Okay.
right now.
How many?
I'm just going off of what we did at work here the other day when we bought jackets for the, I mean, just make sure your 2,000's enough, or whatever it
Yeah,
needs.
and actually that may be more than enough because
Okay,
generally in the past, firefighters have always shared in the cost also. That's what they have.
Just so, like, the fire department, they don't make very much money, out of a year. they get hundreds of dollars, maybe a $500, $600 check. It depends how much they show up for the calls and meetings.
It's like
And
with any volunteer service. I mean, it's not a,
well, like when you compare it to the ambulance service, but the ambulance has to be on call. But just so, like, these guys aren't, it's very volunteer. They're not really making any significant money off it. So the jackets, in my way of view, is a nice thank you for what they do and a lot of time they put into it.
how does the ambulance, how do you guys get your jackets?
Yeah, I know. Remember this, in the past, I've asked a couple times for the city to buy jackets for the ambulance, and they told us no.
Yep.
Because they said it would set a precedent where you would have to consider funding, materials for the other volunteer services. Where do you stop? What we have to do is, we have our own relief association where we'll do fundraisers, the VFW breakfast, where else do we use them? I can't even remember. Or ask for a donation to the relief fund. So we've had to find out of our own relief association fund. We buy jackets every 3 or 4 years, I suppose. We buy shirts every other year, still comes out of the relief fund. We've, like I said, because of the response we've gotten in the past, we haven't come back to the city.
And ours has too in the past, yeah.
Yours has what, too?
It's been paid from the fire relief.
So this is the first time that we're buying quotes.
And the ambulance doesn't have they don't have the opportunity to do the extra stuff that we are doing, and that's true. You know, but there's a lot of departments that they don't burn any grass. I don't, how they get their money, I don't know. But it has to go to the city. It cannot go to the relief.
So when was the last time that the ambulance got jackets?
I was gonna say, it's been a while.
Roman, I assume this is
Well, guess what?
not a uniform, it's something that would be taken home and kept by the person
Yep.
and not turned back in when they,
Right.
On both sides, right?
Oh, so can we
Yeah.
do that then?
But they want them,
Because is it a gift?
I haven't, I had not thought about the current state of that without Roman asking me, but, I mean, you gotta watch when you do things for city employees or city volunteers or
Mhm.
city things that
Yep.
aren't available to the general public. Oh, let them use the city car wash to wash their cars. Because, you know,
Okay, so
But
where do we
we've bought
fall with the
in
jackets?
the Past, I mean, obviously,
I don't know.
They've
Sherry.
paid for them themselves.
they
Sherry,
paid for them.
out of their
lessons, like the
relief
one Gary wears all
fund.
the time?
Yeah.
He paid for that himself?
No, that's a retired one,
Oh, he retired. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and that was paid for by
All right.
the fire relief.
Sherry, these things, I was just looking today on the city attorney chat line that I get emails on, and one of them was, you know, some of these preferences and things for city employees. I didn't look specifically at jackets. One of them was washing cars in the city bay. Don't
Yeah,
do
I
it,
know.
you know. There's a car wash business in town here. Go to the car wash business. City shouldn't be. It just hit me. I haven't looked at jackets. It could be part of the uniform.
No,
It could be
it's
part
not.
of the.
Similar to what Doug's got.
No, it's no problem if it's part of the uniform, but then the uniform, what happens to the uniform?
Do you have to
It's-
wear the uniform when you're out fighting fires too, or when do you wear the uniform?
Well, like Doug said, if you're in
No.
the fire,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I get that, but I'm just saying like, then if you're gonna call it a uniform,
I just want it to be
I don't know.
fair. I mean, what's
I do
for
too.
one, I think should go for the other.
so then are we gonna look
Only
at,
5 extra on the order.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, believe me.
and the
we tried to
shirts
make
too.
the, case that those are uniforms and the city should pay for them, and we've been told no several times.
Well, I mean,
Well, that was my next question.
I'll open a can of worms, didn't I?
So, and are there any other groups besides firemen and ambulance that are gonna come back asking for jackets? Is this the only two groups that we gotta consider?
No. Police are covered by a union contract, uniforms. The others
Okay.
are covered by union contract.
what about the other city?
The swimming,
No,
the
they're
s-
union.
The
No.
swimming
Oh,
pool
the-
people. we-
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think we paid
that's
for
right.
their swimsuits is all we paid for. No,
So that's
Well-
their uniform.
that's their working uniform, yeah.
And how many ambulance, like, where are you gonna, do they have to put in a certain amount of hours to get a jacket? Or are you gonna let everybody have one, even if they only take
That would be
one?
the same with fire, though.
So you buy every 4 years?
Well, it's not steady.
Oh, okay.
When with people who work all the time, we say wears out, then we start talking.
I would guess we haven't bought jackets for, it's at least 10 years. At least. You know. No, we're talking basically the same type we have.
Like, those are like $50, $60 jackets?
Yes, I believe so. Yep. They have winter inserts and you can take it out, correct? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with, I just think it should be fair. I'm fine with the money going, because I
Understand
think you've earned it
I do too.
on both sides, to be honest with you. But I think it should be fair. Whether you set a dollar amount or just get, I mean, like, you have to use some common sense, but if you have to set an amount or length of time, like so many years or whatever, but I do think it should be uniform for
Mhm.
all.
And in the
Volunteer.
past, when they bought as a group, the firefighters have always paid part of it. Is what they have.
It should be like
And-
quality,
And that was talked
Huh?
about also.
like quality.
Yep.
Mhm.
You got one spring jacket, you don't buy one, a parka, buy them all the
Well,
same.
like for the mayor, for the police department, we give them a uniform allowance. If they want to spend more than the uniform allowance, they surely can. An officer, they spend over their allowance. So you could, if you're gonna make it part of the uniform, make it a uniform allowance, and if they want to buy more, fancier, that's up to them.
So they would get a per person amount, and then for the number of people that they have in their service, we would give them